November 1867, the Oxnard Plain along the Santa Clara River in what was then Santa Barbara County. California had become the 31st state in 1850, and there is still much land to settle. A group of German immigrants make their way down south in search of fertile farmland when a wagon breaks an axle crossing the Santa Clara River. The group includes the Christian Borchard family, his nephew Casper, and some friends from the old country, Gottfried Malhart and his wife Sophie. They decide to camp along the river until they can get the wagon fixed. In the wide, vast plains filled with yellow flowers, they recognize wild mustard plants, a source of seed which can be harvested and sold. Their journey ends here and their legacy begins, as these families go on to establish the beginnings of a major agricultural hub, Ventura County in the city of Oxnard. Christian Borchard, who has recently received his U.S. citizenship, had preceded the others in the U.S. by 18 years when he had tried to strike it rich during the gold rush of 1849 in Northern California. In 1867, after floods had ruined his business in Contra Costa County up north, Christian Borchard had made trips to the Oxnard Plain to scout out a place to raise his family and make a new start. In October 1867, he had purchased 1,000 acres of land from Jose Lobero, land that was rich with this wild mustard. His nephews and his friends the Malharts have now left central Germany to avoid conscription into the Prussian army, traversing the world to join Christian and his family. They are coming to freely practice their Catholic faith and to discover the American dream. Jeff Malhart is a fifth-generation Oxnard native, a history teacher, and the author of several books about Oxnard.
One reason the Malharts came over here is because Germany was a collection of states, and Prussia was one of the states that was trying to unite Germany through warfare, and the Malharts were from the Kingdom of Hanover. After a 3-day battle in which they lost, they decided to come to California to start a new life instead of fighting forward and fighting against the other states.
When these settlers first arrive, the plain is inhabited by no one, covered with gopher holes, and there is but a lone tree. The sojourners temporarily stay in an adobe house owned by Rafael Gonzalez, one of the 8 grantees of Rancho El Rio de Santa Clara o la Colonia, which had been granted prior to the Mexican-American War by the Mexican government.
Rancho El Rio de Santa Clara o la Colonia means the colony by the Santa Clara River. And it was called the colony because Rafael Gonzalez, along with 7 of his family members, applied for a grant from Governor Alvarado.
The two families combined forces to begin harvesting the wild mustard seed, which they sell in Santa Barbara for 2 cents a pound. Soon after, Gottfried and Sophie try to settle the river bottom when they meet the kindly Reverend Bristol from the other side of the river, who warns them against doing so. The Malharts lease several hundred acres of land, working the dry, parched ground, bringing it to yield good crops of barley and corn for the next several years. In 1869, Gottfried's brother Jacob and his family, who had come over from Germany with the Malharts, relocate on the plain, coming down from Contra Costa County. In 1872, along with Johannes Borchard, who has now arrived from the old country, they purchased the land from their landlord, Juan Camarillo. Johannes, later known as John Borchard in the area, became a major humanitarian and donated $20,000 and the land for the original St. John's Hospital in 1913. The Malharts and the Borchards continue farming barley and corn. This document shows that they also hired each other to help with tasks too great to otherwise handle, such as harvesting grain. Thomas Bard had been in the area for a few years, working for a Mr. Thomas Scott, a Pennsylvania oilman, to develop the oil industry on Scott's land in the area. However, Bard is frustrated with the lack of progress in the emerging industry he had been hired to oversee, and recognizes the potential of agriculture in the area as an alternative to oil drilling. He begins advertising in Northern California to attract prospective farmers to the new Ventura County. Over the next several years, new farmers in the area include Peter Donlin, James Leonard, Dominic McGrath, Thomas Rice, Jack Hill, James Saviors, and Leroy Arnold.